Testing, testing. Hey everyone, this is Daniel, and in this video we're going to look at how we can use PowerApps to build us a solar system. So before we start building one, I wanted to do this demo of the real final outcome. So over here we've got the sun over here, and now we're going to go ahead and add all these other planets. So first thing I can do is just add Mercury, and when I click start, it starts revolving around the sun. And then next I do Venus, and as you can see, that's its revolution pace is a little slower than the Mercury, and then so on and so forth for the other ones. So I have Earth, Mars, Jupiter, and all of them. And the thing was, because of the the width of the page, I positioned it such that you will be able to see at least all of them at some point. But that's completely up to you. You can move however you want. But the key thing over here is you can see that I was able to change the revolutions amount based on the size and based on how far away it is from the sun. The other things I can do is I can stop right there. I can start it, and then while it's actually revolving, you can go ahead and filter down to say just the ones that you want to see. So for example, right now I can just see Jupiter, I can go and see Saturn, and come back to Mercury, and so on and so forth, and I can stop that. So this is just a overview of the final product that we're going to build. Now let's dive in and build it. So I'm going to go ahead and click exit. Next we will create a new one, so I'll go for the tablet layout. What I would do is first call this as, let's say, solar screen size orientation. I'm changing that to a widescreen, and let me just hit apply. Okay, so one of the things I want to do first is I want to add all the images that I'll be using. And along with the blog, you will see that I've put some zipped files over there, 2 of them, and those actually have all the images that I'll be using over here. So you will have these images as well. So let me just select them. So now we should have all the planets plus the night sky stars in the back. Right, let me just click on save. Also in the during this video, you'll see that I have this simple quick notes, and that's where I'll be taking all my formulas and all the sizes. All of these are also available in the blog, so you can refer to this information over there as well. Alright, so let me go back now. First things first is I want to add my background image, and for that I will use the night sky stars. I'll go ahead and fill it so it fills up. That looks good. Now let's start adding all these planets. First let's do the sun. So click there, type that in, the image came in. I know it's called sun, so pick that over here. Also let me rename this to sun image. Now it is important that you see what information what's the naming convention that I'm using over here. Because, for example, here I've done sun_image, and that does apply to my formula. So if you're planning on just copying and pasting over here, from here over to the formula over here, then you want to make sure that the names are the exact same. Otherwise, if you try and copy, and then you'll get these little squiggly lines which says that there's some error, and you'll have to kind of troubleshoot that. All right, so next key thing is you want to make sure that the size and the positions are the same, at least initially, especially for the sun, because all of the other ones are going to depend on that. So for the sun's position, I'm going to put it as 358 and 406. So position is 358, 406, and that's what I put that as. It's a good place to start it with. Size was 62 by 78, so let me change that. This is something that worked for me. You guys can change that however you feel that works for you. So we've got got the sun now, so let's start adding all the planets in. Sun, first one is Mercury. Pick that up, change the name here. Image, get the size 27 by 45. Size 27 by 45, and I wanted to make that small, so let me zoom in a little bit. And now we need the X and Y. Oh, so one thing I forgot to do is we want to add the timer value. So let's go in controls, we'll search for the timer, and I click on that. You'll see that by default the first name that comes up is timer1. I'm going to leave that as it is. The main reason is because I have that in my formulas, see timer1 value. That's why I'll just leave that as it is. But now, now I can start applying these formulas over here. So for Mercury, the first one is X. Let me add that here. And the Y. So now we have this over here. So technically, if I just click on this guy, it will actually start its revolution. So let's take a look. And yep, it has. It's all this revolution is working based on this timer which is running over here, and based on the formulas that we put in. It is also directly related to the location of the sun. So for example, if I were to move the sun, you will actually see the other planets moving along with it. So I'll just make sure that I put the sun back in the same position, 358 by 406. All right, so let's keep adding all the other planets. Image. Again, naming convention is important. Now for Venus, it is 41 by 40. Now the X and the Y. All right, quick test. Nice. Next. I really do like this IntelliSense because you just start typing it, and if you know what you're typing for, because when we added all the images, I know that my name was Earth, so I just started typing EAR and it immediately picked it up. So I really do like this IntelliSense option over here. Test. Nice. is 65 by 53. 65, 53. Jupiter. 215,209. Wait, Jupiter is 180 by 170. It's 180 by 170. I'm glad I caught that mistake. A little smaller, that's fine. X is nice. Okay, Saturn 215209. Its X is right, good. Two by 47. Now, for this planet, we'll notice that it's going to be a little bit outside this screen, but that's fine, because you will eventually see it at some point, usually around this area here, so it shows up. And then the same thing for Neptune as well. And that's the last one that we'll be adding. By 40. So we got a little bit of problem here, and that's because in my notes over here, I have the image as Neptune underscore image. Well, over here, I just have it as image. So let me change that to Neptune underscore image. And that should also put that in a position right here. So we should be able to see that. Here, x cosine minus the sine. Make sure I got the correct one. Neptune size is 60 by 40. 62 by 47. Okay, so we've got that. So next we want to focus on changing these buttons. So now you can keep that as it is, but what I would prefer to do is I just put a start and a stop button, and I wanted to get rid of this over here. So what I did was I go ahead and get that down a little bit, make sure I know the name, which is timer 1, and I was able to basically hide it. So I went to the advanced over here. You can go there and do it, or in the view action, or even easier, true, you can change that to false, and now it's disappeared. Instead, I'm going to add 2 buttons. This one here, let's make him called as stop. I'm calling this button as also stop. So let me just change his name to stop. This guy a little bit smaller. Copy and paste, Control C, Control V. And change this one's text to start. So now we have our 2 buttons. Name to start. Alright, so what we can do now is go ahead and do some formula. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to use the variables. So on the start button, I will click on start, on select, and apply the formula here. Basically what I'm trying to say is that when you have it on start, go ahead and set the spinner status, because the spinner status is the global variable. I want to set the value of the spinner status at start. And then same thing for the stop button, same global variable, but I will be setting that its on select will be stop. Now what I want to do is on the timer, I'm going to set the spinner status for auto pause and auto start. I'm going to put these new values. So let's do the auto pause. Let's go to the timer and look for the auto pause function. So timer, it's hard to see because it's hidden over here, so it's best that you just go and select it over here. Timer for the auto start. Just confirm that. Yep, oh, it was auto pause. Auto pause, change that to stop. For auto start, I will change that to start. And then one last thing is on this timer, I'm going to change that total to a ridiculous amount. So now we've got all this. Let's check to see if the buttons work. Okay, so let's check, and that's right. So start works, and so does the stop. So start's working, and stop's working. All right. So let me go ahead and just hit save because we've done the start and stop and everything. final thing we have is the filters. So for the filter's sake, what I'm going to do is I'll add one, which is say for Mercury, and then it's the same process for all the other ones. So let me now go and just do one in the controls checkbox, bring it up over here. Let's call this guy Mercury. Change him to white, so it's viewable. Now we need to make a little change on the we're adding some more variables over here. So for the Mercury's checkbox for on check, this is what we're going to do. So let me show it to you. On the Mercury, when it's on check, I'll set this variable. The variable is Mercury status, and set that to visible. And for uncheck, I'll set the variable status to hide. So okay, did that. Now finally, the value of this variable needs to make some sense. So I'm just going to go back to now on the image itself, in the visible action, I will set this formula. So let me show you what that means. So now I need to do that for Mercury. So let me actually find Mercury. It's a little planet over here. Let's look for visible. And in visible, here's the formula. Which is basically saying that now when I check the box for Mercury, the value of that Mercury status variable will be set to visible. And now once it's visible, this will hide. So it's already actually doing it because you see the box is unchecked, which means the value is set to unhide. So let's just do a quick test. Let me log in here, start, and now if I check it, you see Mercury shows up over here, uncheck it, it disappears. So let's just do that. Let's do it for another bigger one, or let's do it for the planet Earth as an example. Did that. Let's pull that over here. Same thing for on check for the checkbox. What I'll do is I will change that to Earth status. Is visible, and here I will set another one. Now we finally go and click on Earth, go to visible, and there we add the final thing, which is Earth status equals visible. It's all based on the formula then. So Earth status right. So now if you do a test, both of them are missing. So let's add Mercury, and now we can add. Basically, this is how you do it. I've only shown Mercury and Earth, but that's how you do it for all of them. So once again, in a nutshell, this is how you're able to build this great fun app, but it's so easy to build with any no code requirement. Obviously, there's a little bit of math involved, but I've already provided the formulas, and then you can tweak around some of the locations and things like that. Also, you can tweak around the sizes. But the beauty of this type of formula is it's all dynamic. See, I've tied it all down to the sun image. So now if I just move the sun, all of these other planets will move in the exact same amount. So watch this. See, it all moves around in the exact same amount. So that's the beauty of this type of dynamic formulas. And all the buttons, start and stop, hide and unhide. Even while they are moving in the revolution, you can see all of this. So I hope this was a good learning experience for you, just to see the power of PowerApp. Thanks.